Do you know something? I feel kind of bad actually sitting down recording this on a Friday morning instead of having it out on Thursday. But it has been one of those weeks where just everything's just been just non-stop. Welcome back to the Army Podcast, guys, for another week. The unleashed edition, but on a Friday instead of a Thursday. I apologise for the delay. It's been just one of those weeks where everything has just been non-stop since last weekend. Like, literally, it has not stopped. Anyway, welcome back to the Army Podcast, guys, for another week. Hope you're all keeping well out there. Wow, what a week it's been. I got a few things I want to talk about on the podcast today. We're going to talk about our recent trip to Liverpool. Lewis and I had this 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Also, a couple of things I want to talk about on the podcast today as well. Individuals who sort of make me cross, but sort of like don't make me cross. One of them ones that don't make me cross being Mr. Donald Trump. I'm going to talk about him today on the podcast. We talk about an individual who I thought was a little bit of an annoyance, creepy, annoying, a liar, a backstabber, and Mr. Matt Hancock. I'm going to be talking about him on the podcast today, and also answering some of your emails and questions and more. So welcome back to the Army Podcast for Norway, guys. On the Unleashed edition, if you haven't listened to last Tuesday's podcast, I recorded it just before I left for Liverpool with Lewis this past Wednesday morning. Go back and check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, and also if you listen to us here on YouTube, you can go back and check it out on the Mirror Army YouTube channel as well. And don't forget to hit subscribe to the Mirror Army YouTube channel, or Mirror Army Podcast, YouTube channel as well. Before I go any further, guys, in the podcast, just want to do my little bit of housekeeping I like to call every week here on the podcast. If you're new to the Mirror Army Podcast and you're listening to us here today for the first time, if you would like to get in touch with the show, you can certainly do that by the following methods. First of all, you can send us an email with any questions, suggestions, or anything like that you want to talk about. Anything you want to talk about at all in the podcast, give us an email, mirrorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Also, you want to contact me directly on social media, which a lot of you have done, especially yesterday when I was doing a live stream in Liverpool John Lennon Airport. I want to talk about that shortly too as well. Official Matthew Moore on Instagram. Drop us a message or anything at all you want to talk about. I'll certainly try my best to get back to you as much as I can. And also on Facebook, the Mirror Army YouTube channel Facebook page. You want to go there and drop a like on that page for me, I really would appreciate it as well. And also for the main place to go to for all your Mirror Army Podcast, Mirror Army YouTube channel, and Lewis's YouTube channel merchandise. Also all our social media posts, whether it be photographs and more, and everything to do with the Mirror Army, go to mirrorarmy.co.uk. Right, guys. I also forgot to say at the start of the podcast, I was recording here as well, we're going to be announcing this week's official Mirror Army Podcast Unleashed edition, of course, Jackass of the Week. Also, I've got one lined up for you this week. But yes, guys, what a week it's been. I mean, if you've been following our YouTube channel over the last couple of days, God, Lewis and I have had so much travelling done since last weekend. Last Saturday, as I said to you, we were in Warren Point, which was a hell of a journey. From here in Bangor, obviously travel from Bangor to Belfast, and then from Belfast to Warren Point, which is a heck of a fucking drive, to be honest. We were there for football. Then on Monday night, Lewis and I were out. Lucky enough, it was just down the road at our football club we follow and obviously work for. Their under-18s game was against our local side, Bangor, here Monday night. We were at that game, which was too far from where we live, which is great. Then on Tuesday, we were in Ballyclare, which the welders who we work for obviously got a great result. A 0-0 draw away from home was a point away from home, which was a bonus. And then on Wednesday morning, Lewis and I was back up at 4:45 in the morning, I think it was. We got up that morning. I didn't get to sleep till like near 1. So I had to come home from football and do match reports, edit the website, put out the manager's interview, etc., etc. And I think I had about 3 hours sleep maybe. And we got up and we had to go to the airport to get to Liverpool. So that was fun. So it was. We got to the airport pretty early. Lewis had more sleep than what I did. Plenty of coffee was fucking required that morning, trust me. Many cups of coffee I had that morning. But off we went on our travels to Liverpool once again. And guys, it wasn't a bad wee trip this time. We had good giggles and good laughs, Lewis and I. He was just coming up with some of the most sarcastic comments on the plane. It was just like, Lewis, he really is growing into such a young man now, and he was in certain periods of the trip pissing me off, because you know what it's like. Anybody there who has a teenage son, or anybody out there who knows what teenage boys are like. I mean, I was a teenage boy at one point as well. But these young lads now can just be a little bit annoying sometimes, and sometimes he was doing that to me on the trip, and he had to sort of be reminded, Lewis, shut up. You know. But overall, it was a great trip, guys. We had good fun. I'm going to tell you a true story, and it's actually an embarrassing story, but I really don't care. It's the Unleashed podcast. I can say whatever the fuck I want in this show. The night before, sorry if you hear that pinging in the background, it's my laptop pinging when I'm recording the podcast here. I've actually forgot to put it on mute. Yeah, I was sitting on the plane the night before. We were before we went to Ballyclare, we called into the Harnmouth Builders Social Club in Belfast and had a really good feed for dinner. They're restaurant guys in Belfast. If you ever get a chance, if you're ever in East Belfast, seriously, go to the Harnmouth Builders Social Club. See their food, it's to fucking die for. Seriously, I'm going to have to mute this laptop while I'm talking to you here, because it's really irritating me right now. I should have muted it before I actually decided to come on to the podcast and talk to you. But yeah, as I was saying to you guys, if you're ever in the East Belfast area, honestly, go to the Harnmouth Builders Social Club. There you go, it's muted now. The restaurant part of it is, the food is to fucking die for. I mean, like, the food we got was just unbelievable. So then went to football and stuff like that. But I came back home from football, and Brooke had a little bit of a Chinese and stuff like that when she was in the house on her own. I come back from work, she was in the house for about an hour on her own before we came back from football. And I had a little tiny bit of curry as well when I come home. So the moral of the story is, the next morning on the plane, you know where this is going, I had a bit of not an icky tummy, but a little bit of a windy tummy, should we say, the next morning. And on the plane, I 2 or 3 times kind of farted on the fucking plane, and I'm not proud of myself. The plane stunk, and Lewis's reaction was priceless. I wish I had got a video. It was priceless. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, Matthew, you're being disgusting. Why are you talking about farts? You're a 41-year-old grown man. But Lewis was trying to be a wee bit of a smart arse on the plane, so I thought, okay, I'll hold the wind off until I get off the plane. But no, I thought I'll get my own back on him. We're just having a bit of banter back and forward. It's typical men, you know what I mean? And Lewis was looking at me going, Dad, that woman behind you was shouting, that's disgusting. And I actually heard this woman like 5 or 6 rows back going, oh my goodness, what is that horrible smell? She was very posh, by the way. Wasn't very proud of it, like, to be honest, but it was one of those moments where you were sort of like putting your head in your hands going, yeah, it wasn't me. At one point I was actually pretending to be dozing. And then we get off the plane, and Lewis looked at me and went, Dad, I'm disgusted with you. I says, why? And he goes, you're farting on the plane. I was like, well, Lewis, you know, it's just one of those things. You know what I mean? I tend to have a wee bit of a habit sometimes where I really don't give a shit where I am at times and just kind of fart and walk away and leave it. I know it's kind of immature, but sometimes it's a good laugh. You know what I mean? You're having a bit of banter and crack like that, especially when you're out with the boys or whatever else. But Lewis and I had a good crack on the plane, but he was just sort of like, wasn't happy with me for a while because I kept farting on the plane. But I don't think the people like 5 rows behind me were complaining it was that bad. But I do apologise for that. But anyway, moving away from farts and immaturity for just a moment. Overall, our trip was quite good. Put out a good lot of vlogs on the channel, guys. You want to go and check them out. But the best part of the trip, apart from being at the Liverpool game against Derby County there, and it was Liverpool scraped through, by the way, on penalties. I did actually kind of like have my views on that game in the Match Day vlog. You're going to want to watch it out on the channel as well. We're losing over at Anfield last Wednesday night. Some players were a little bit too arrogant for Derby County, even though Derby County's not in as high level football as what they used to be. But even so, some Liverpool players were a little bit arrogant, especially the likes of Bobby Firmino when he came on. But overall, I mean, the boys are through to the next round, which is the most important thing. I'm going to get drawn against Manchester City, which I'm hopefully trying to get tickets for that game. They haven't announced when it's going to be yet, but I'll try and get tickets for the game to go to the game at the Etihad, just to take Lewis along to it and try and get to our League Cup game. That's obviously a plan. But the best part of the Liverpool trip, guys, you probably saw on my Instagram or my YouTube channel, Facebook page. If you haven't saw it or you haven't watched the vlog yet, this is a great thing. Now, we talked about it on Tuesday's podcast, as you probably will listen to it, because a lot of you have listened to the podcast from Tuesday. If you haven't checked it out yet, go and check it out. I brought Lewis on for a couple of moments onto the Family Friendly podcast this past Tuesday, as he was coming in. He had a half day on Tuesday because of a teacher training thing. All these teachers seem to be getting all these half days these days. But anyway, as you all probably know, if you're a big follower of our channel and you're a big follower of our YouTube channel, whatever, you all probably know by now, Lewis is a massive fan of Pound Bakery in the UK. Pound Bakery is the equivalent of Greg's, if you don't know what it is. It's a bakery that sells all different types of pastries and hot food and, you know, all different things you can get, like apple pies and different buns and cakes and everything else you can buy. It's a bakery, basically. And to be quite honest with you, I actually enjoy it more than what I do Greg's. And I've been taking Lewis there for a couple of years, and him and Dad have a bit of a rivalry because Dad likes Greg's more, and Dad bought a Greg's t-shirt to piss Lewis off. But then Lewis, as you all know, has a YouTube channel. He does his gaming videos and the occasional wee vlog and stuff. God love him. I'm going to go and check him out. Please subscribe to his channel, guys. I would appreciate it. Just Lewis Moore. Lewis is spelled L-U-I-S. He wrote to Pound Bakery on Instagram asking them for a sponsorship a few months ago. Maybe I'm going to tell you the story quickly because obviously a lot of you out there probably don't know this story. But Lewis wrote to them asking them for a sponsorship, and they got back to him and said to him, "I'm sorry, Lewis, we don't do sponsors for YouTube channels, etc. But maybe in the future." So obviously Lewis was like, right, okay, no problem. Listen, thank you very much. He showed me all the messages he wrote to him, God love him. Because he's obsessed with the place. He loves sausage rolls. Lewis has always loved sausage rolls since he was a wee boy. And you go watch back a couple of our old videos from like 6 years ago, you always see Lewis having a sausage roll in his hand. At some point, he loved them since he was a kid. But anyway, ever since he came across Pound Bakery, when I took him to Liverpool for the first time, he was obsessed with it ever since. But but then they wrote back to him again after he said no problem and said, listen, since you're such a big fan of our bakeries, and obviously he's been to the ones in Liverpool, Blackpool, and there's more across the UK, but he wants to try and get there a few more. They said to him, we'll send you out a little something as a thank you for being a loyal customer and thank you for advertising our business. So a couple of days had passed and we forgot all about it, whatever it was, and the next minute the door knocked one day with the postman and there was this big brown envelope, and I mean fucking brown envelope, it was huge. And I called, Mum and Dad were here at the time, and I called Lewis and I said, Lewis, what the hell is this here? What did you order? Did you order something online or whatever? And he went, no. And it said his name on it, and he opened it up, and inside was 5 vouchers for Pound Bakery, which he can obviously spend. They also sent him an official letter from one of the owners of the company, like a director or whatever the fuck he was, hand signed by the person, personally thanking Lewis for his custom. Thanks him for being such a great customer, and you know, want to meet him someday. This whole letter that was handwritten or typed out, and then hand signed by one of their director or a CEO or whatever the fuck he was anyway of Pound Bakery. And they also sent him an official Pound Bakery hoodie, which you cannot buy for customers. This is only given to certain members of staff and people who are owning the company. So Lewis was obviously over the fucking moon. He was all excited. He got this, I think it was September time, so we didn't get him over to Liverpool there until Wednesday. So we said, right, Lewis, we're taking your vouchers over, wear your Pound Bakery hoodie when we get into the store, you know, because a lot of the girls in the one in Lord Street in Liverpool, by the way, go and check them out because the staff are fucking fantastic. It's right next to Liverpool 1, by the way, like right next door to it, if you're ever in Liverpool. But yeah, do great coffee too. But Lewis went in with his Pound Bakery hoodie on, and 2 of the girls recognised him, because obviously I'm there all the time as well with football, and they recognised me. We got to know them. Obviously we called in so much because Lewis is obsessed. And I explained to them, girls, look what they've done for them. They sent them a fucking hoodie. And one of the girls, I think it was one of the managers, turned around and says, oh, right, no problem. Says, Lewis, he says, yeah, I've got something for you. And Lewis went, okay, what is it? Check out the vlog, guys, if you don't believe me. So Lewis goes at the back, or Lewis is standing there, and the next minute the girl comes out. Now, Pound Bakery also have an another part of it called Pound Cafe, which is a little cafe. They have them in Blackpool, Liverpool, and things like that. If you watched our summer vlogs where we were in Blackpool last summer, you saw us having breakfast in it a couple of times, and their food is freshly cooked, and it is to die for. You can get an Ulster fry for like, or what I call a fry over there, for like £2 or £2.50, and it's unbelievable. You can get all types of breakfast food, hot foods, whatever. It's unbelievable, and meals throughout the day as well for like next to nothing. And you know, she brought him out a Pound Cafe hoodie and give it to him. There you are, you've got the set now. And Lewis is looking at her going, what? So Lewis went over to the counter and says, she goes, right, okay, what would you like? And Lewis goes, "Come off 2 sausage rolls for my dad and 2 sausage rolls for me." And Lewis had 5 vouchers. Now, I can't remember exactly how much they were worth, but anyway, he handed one of them to the girls, and the girl took it, and then he handed her another one. She went, no. Says, that's okay. You just have to, you just take that there. And says, see that one that you've used? I think she scanned it or whatever. She says, it's now not valid. You can take it home and keep it with your letter, because Lewis framed the letter that he got from Pound. I know you're probably thinking this is fucking sad, a lot of you, or I think it's sad, because I've even had a lot of trolls coming in saying it's pathetic and sad because it's a bakery. Listen, this means a lot to this kid, and my son, you know, loves this place, and it means a lot to him. It could be a lot fucking worse. At 13, 14 years of age, he could be out fucking doing drugs or drinking or something, but he's not. He's obsessed with this Pound bakery, which is not a bad thing. And a lot of trolls have been coming in lately and saying it's fucking sad. Well, you're fucking sad for wasting your time anyway. But anyway, try and take it away, obviously, from this. The girl said, take it home, put it in the frame of your letter, and keep it as a wee keepsake. And Lewis was like, whoa, holy crap, really, seriously? And then you probably saw my Instagram, where there's a photograph of the girl presenting all to him and stuff. And it was great. You know, that little things like that meant the world to Lewis. You know what I mean? And a lot of you out there probably don't know, Lewis has ADHD, which is a bit of a disability sort of thing. You know, you don't really notice it, but obviously, but there is times, obviously, I notice it because sometimes he gets a little bit emotional or upset over silly wee things and things like that. But with Lewis at the minute, little things like that there means the world to him. You know, and as I said to you there, a lot of 13, 14-year-old boys that are out there doing stupid things like trans cigarettes and taking drugs and drinking and whatever else. Lewis has never done that, because Lewis is always, you know, he's into his computers, he's into his gaming, he's into, obviously, Pound Bakery. He likes fixing things, he likes, you know, building things out of nothing. You know, he's just wee things like that there, and a lot of people out there don't know that he has that. But again, I don't highlight it, I don't treat him any differently, but at the end of the day, this is one of his wee things that he loves, and that giving him that hoodie, them hoodies, meant the fucking world to him, and he was so overjoyed, and he was ecstatic knowing the fact that the company actually went an effort to him. But it even got better for him, because the next day, whenever we went back, we were getting ready to go home, you'll see the vlog, I actually put it up this morning there. Lewis went in for his breakfast again, because he's fucking nuts, like, and the girls give him sausage rolls for free, and he came walking out and he was like, Dad, they give it to me. I was like, what? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, holy shit. So, you know, little things like that there, that means a lot to him, you know. And then we were on the bus on the way back to the airport. I'd sent Pound Bakery on Instagram, because they follow me too as well. I sent them a message with the link to my video saying, you know, Lewis has obviously been in the store, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. But little did I know, Lewis had already contacted them earlier on that morning. And what they actually went and done was they actually took the photograph I took from Lewis getting his hoodie and splashed it all over their social media, and they actually named Lewis their #1 customer. You know, little things like that there mean so much to a child at that age. You know, and there's a lot of 13, 14-year-old wee boys out there who actually wouldn't give a shit about that. But little things like that mean a lot to my son. You know, he really loves that wee place, and when the staff are always friendly to him, and, you know, they've got to know him now, and he just loves it. He just absolutely loves it. And there's a bit of banter between him and my dad. You know, I actually put a photo up on Instagram, I think before, a couple of months ago. Dad with his Greg's t-shirt on. He bought it in Primark, whatever you want to call it. And Lewis with his Pound Bakery hoodie on. A bit of a rivalry between the two of them. Dad does it for a laugh to wind them up. You know what I mean? And Lewis was just ecstatic, the fact that they plastered the photograph of him on their social media. They shared it on their story on Instagram. They shared a thing before about his package on that sent to him before about the hoodie and all on Instagram, and that meant the world to him. And people are like and watching his videos and coming in more and watching my videos, I've had people contact me over the last 2 or 3 days, saying to me about, how great it was, the pound bakery, just wanted that little bit. And it's just little things like that there, means the world to him, and that made his trip. Okay, he loved going to Anfield and watching Liverpool play, but wee things like that there meant the world to him. And that was his highlight for the trip. Well, I could have said maybe one of the highlights, because I did put up an our vlog today where he got to go to the Apple store in Liverpool. Honestly, when I look at him, sometimes it scares me, because he kind of reminds me of me. So he does, because at that age I was into when I was 14, the gadgets weren't as advanced as what they are now. But he's always into gadgets. He's always wanting the new technology and stuff like that. I mean, even when I was married to his mum at the time, his mum used to always say to me, Jesus Christ, what the hell have you bought now? Like when I worked in Curry's at the time, I was always bringing products home to test it out, like laptops and cameras and, all these different things I was bringing home to try and she was she used to crack up at me going, fucking hell, like seriously, you're all these gadgets and stuff. And Lewis is the same. You know what I mean? So, and that makes me proud, because he wants to do different things like that, compared to being like a 14-year-old or whatever out in the streets causing problems. And, because nowadays there's a lot of the all young ones that are nowadays are just an absolute fucking nightmare. And I've already addressed this before. Young ones nowadays are just crazy. Not them all, but some of them are. And I'm proud the fact that he'd rather, he does go out with his friends and all, don't get me wrong. And he has his wee friends outside of the family and whatever, and he has his life away from that, and away from me and his sister and all. But the fact that he'd rather sit in the house and build a computer or build something or do something productive or help me around the house or do something like that there, instead of going out and trying cigarettes and smoking and taking drugs and whatever else and getting himself into trouble with the police, whatever. You know what I mean? That makes me even more fucking proud of him. You know what I mean? And it's the same for Brooke as well. Obviously, Brooke has her job and she's got her things away from that there. And I never get any bother with them at all. And it's great. But going back to what I'm saying is, Lewis, that little thing with Pound Bakery made his trip. And he was so happy about it. And the staff were great. So all I'm going to say is, Pound Bakery, I'm going to tag them in this podcast when I put it out on social media and stuff. Thank you so much for making my wee lad so happy, because at the end of the day, you guys mean the world to him. And I know it's a little silly wee thing like a bakery and stuff like that. There's probably a lot of wee arseholes who are listening to this podcast now, because I get emails from them all the time thinking they're funny. Oh, fucking pub bakery and all. Aye, whatever. At the end of the day, this means a lot to him, and this is what he wants to. This is one of his wee things that he loves, and I'm not going to stand in his way, because at the end of the day, it could be worse. So, but it was a great trip, guys. I mean, we went into the city centre yesterday and done a bit of shopping about. We actually met a lot of viewers as well over at Anfield, which was fucking great to see. A couple of you did drop me a mail saying you were over from different places to watch the game and you wanted to meet me. I didn't get a chance to check the message requests on Instagram, so I do apologise. I did mail a few years back yesterday. I'll probably see you over the game again soon. But met a lot of people over there. It was great to see. It was so nice to meet people and whatever else, and they're always like dead nice to us about the videos and stuff. So thank you very much for everybody who spoke to us. Where we stayed, our apartment we stayed in was beautiful. Stay City Apartments in Liverpool. I've stayed there a couple of times before. Mum and Dad have stayed there a couple of times as well. So great wee spot in town. Just back at James Street in Liverpool. Great wee spot. We went out for dinner that night in the restaurant too as well. That afternoon before we went to the match actually, and of course we had to get pizza because Lewis loves his pizza. But yeah, it was good. But overall, guys, the trip was really, really fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I just couldn't really say any more about it. Liverpool, we obviously love Liverpool so much. I'm hoping to get back before Christmas again, or maybe after Christmas. I'd love to go to apparently the Christmas market this year is going to be a lot better, and they were setting up a few other things in Liverpool one for Christmas as well. So I'm hoping to get over for the Christmas market, maybe get over for a day or two, maybe a week before Christmas or something, and have a look around the Christmas market. Because the last time I was over with the Christmas market was actually 2019, when I went over with Sandra. Whenever me and Sandra were only together a couple of months, we went to the Liverpool for 2 days. They were fun vlogs. You want to go back and watch those? They were funny vlogs, so they were. We ended up on the big wheel and all too as well, and it was just a great time over there. But the Christmas market in Liverpool reopened again last year, I think it was, after COVID. And apparently this year it's going to be even bigger this year, so might try and get over for the Christmas market this year with the kids, so we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, guys, it was a great trip, and it was just so much fun. But I had good fun with you guys on the way home. I actually done an Instagram live stream. I'm going to actually re-upload it today onto my YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out, you can watch it now on my Instagram, official Matthew Moore, if you want to go and watch it on my YouTube channel. I'll get it up today at some point. Yeah, I just thought, something I haven't done I had about an hour or so to kill before the plane came to go home. And I hadn't done a live Instagram feed in God knows how long. And I thought, something, I'm going to jump on. And if anybody's about, I'll have a chat with them. And a lot of you come in and said hello and asked me questions and stuff like that there. I had to block one or two balloon heads come in, thought they were smart. But no, it was good. It was good talking to you. Some of your great questions, asked me about Liverpool, asked me about different things. It was great, and it was great to talk to you. I was talking to Lewis about it on the plane. I'm saying, Lewis, I'm going to have to do more live Instagram feeds and just get on and communicate with the audience, because it's a big thing to do, communicate with your audience, and just trying to find the time to do it. So I'm going to try and maybe align a wee couple of days a week or whatever, maybe once or twice a week to sit down for half an hour or whatever, just jump on Instagram or pop up randomly and just talk to you, because at the end of the day, guys, it's used to follow our channel and it's used to support our channel. So, and I don't want to obviously just put out vlogs and then just leave it and that's it. I want to communicate more with you, and a lot of you do ask me as well, and I get a lot of wee arseholes ask me this all the time, why is your comments turned off on YouTube? I've told you this before. The reason why they're turned off is because there's a lot of sick bastards out there who put a lot of sick, twisted stuff up on my YouTube channel comment page, which I don't want my younger viewers to see. Now I understand, yes, that's why I've created even the Unleashed podcast here for more of the older ones. Now I know a lot of younger ones will listen to this, but again, when I put this out, I do state it's for over 18s, preferably, because I do speak quite a lot and swear. So I'm just sort of trying to balance the audience out for everybody. But at the end of the day, the comments out there, some of them are disgusting. And say a 10-year-old comes in, I mean, I've met a lot of small ones who watch my videos. I've met a lot of them at the Elim Church there recently in Halloween as well. And I don't want people seeing things like that where people are saying that I'm doing this and doing disgusting things to animals or disgusting things to my children, or calling me names that are like completely out of fucking line. I get it all the time on Instagram, like especially on Fridays and Saturday nights, drunken fucking teenagers at like 18, 19 thinking they're funny. Oh, you big fucking paedophile, you big nonsense. I don't want that on my comments section, guys. That's why I'm doing a live Instagram feed, so I can talk to people who are normal and not bonkers and not nuts and not crazy. That's why I'm going to start doing more Instagram streams where you can actually communicate with me directly instead of like hiding behind a computer, if you know what I mean. So that's why I want to do more Instagram streams where I can actually see your questions and answer them. And if anybody wants to come in and try and be a troll, then they're automatically blocked and they're gone and the question's not even answered. So there you go. But the Instagram stream I done the other day was great. So it was great communicating with a lot of you. You were coming in, asking great questions and stuff. I did say to you about this podcast as well. It could be out later on that day, because I literally had to come home, got off the plane, went straight to football last night. Done a fantastic interview, by the way, with the management team at the Welders. What a great interview. I spoke to the manager and his two assistants at the same time, all three at a table last night, guy. I published the video this morning. Go to Welders TV and watch it. It's a great interview. It's one of the best interviews I've done in quite a while, actually. You all spoke very, very well. It was great. So then I came from there. I had to come straight home. I had to fix the fucking tumble dryer. I had other things to do around the house as well. Put all the dirty washing in from the trip. Get the kids' uniforms ready for tomorrow. And then it got really late and I thought, something, I'll record the podcast tomorrow, because I haven't got a chance. I normally do it on a Thursday, or even record it a day before on a Wednesday and get it out on a Thursday, but just with that trip this week as well, it's just been one of those crazy, crazy weeks. But thanks for everybody who came into the Instagram stream. I am going to get it uploaded onto the YouTube channel today. And I'm also going to be doing another thing on the YouTube channel as well. I'm going to be doing more shorts videos, these YouTube shorts. Lewis was saying it's a great way to communicate with your audience as well. Like give them previews for your vlogs. Little we like, you can say something coming up or whatever. You can do a quick YouTube short, promote things, different wee things like that. And I thought, something, Lewis, I'll do it. I may as well. Of all these different options I have to try and build our audience even bigger. And I haven't had a chance recently between work and everything else that's been going on personally and privately and stuff. So I thought, something, I'm going to try and squeeze as much in to the content related for everybody to try and make this channel better for everybody, and obviously the podcast better for everybody, and try and do something better, because I keep saying I want to do all these things, like bring out new merch and bring out new stuff to the channel and do this for the Red Men Football Ventures channel, do all the and then I just can't. So I actually sat down when I was waiting for the manager last night, and I got a notebook out and was making a few notes and stuff, what I want to do and stuff, and what I want to do and for the channel, and do, it's just sort of, when you're trying to balance everything and you're trying to work and you've got 2 kids to look after and you're trying to do your football job and you're trying to podcast and you're trying to YouTube, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But I know I'm ranting on quite a bit, but here you go. 1 second. Should have brought a bottle of water in here before I switched this podcast on. But yeah, in closing, thank you very much for obviously coming on the Instagram stream. I do appreciate it. Anyway, some things I want to talk about. I talked about this on Tuesday. I wanted to talk about 2 individuals. I want to talk about, first of all, Mr. Matt Hancock. I know, what a random name. So it is. Should be Mr. Ballbag, so he is, in my opinion. I'm just going to say, excuse my language, but this is the Unleashed podcast, so I can say what I want to a degree. This guy, Matt Hancock, like, seriously, what, for the love of Pete, is this guy doing? He's now entered the jungle on I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. Right? I'm going to rant here a bit, guys, so if you don't like me ranting, switch off now. But this guy is a fucking weasel. He's a liar. He's a cheat. He's more faces than Big Ben's clock or the Albert clock in Belfast. He's a scaremonger. He's not a fucking celebrity in my eyes, and he's a weasel. And the reason why he is because look what he done to us during COVID lockdown, scaring the absolute piss out of people. Even my own parents, he's scared. Like, stay at home, don't go out the door. If you go out the door, you're killing granny, or you're killing your auntie, whatever it is down the road, or your uncle, or you're killing, and locking us up like animals. Why he was out there having an affair behind his wife's back. And he was out doing all these rule-breaking situations while we were all locked at home like animals. And all the shit that he spat out to us and all the crap that he done. And he was out all along, he was out cheating on his wife with some wee girl in Parliament. He was caught doing it. And I'll tell you a story. I remember whenever he first started coming up on TV, when we were all in lockdown at the time, Mum and Dad wouldn't even come to my driveway, which was fucking disgusting. And that really fucking pissed me off. Keeping people away from each other, which was ridiculous. Like, it came out that lockdowns weren't even effective, 0.2% effective rate. Like, what the actual fuck? Like, seriously, we were locked up like animals because of people like Matt Hancock. Taking away our daily privileges in life to stay at home over something that they're now saying is like, what does it say? A runny nose and that's it. Like a cold. But anyway, I remember being on a video call one night with Mum and Dad, or it was either a video call or a call. I was on the sofa one night sitting with Sandra. I remember speaking to Mum and Dad, and I says, "You watch, Mum and Dad. You watch. See him? He's a weasel. He's up to something behind our back. I don't like him. I don't trust him. I don't believe a word that comes out of his fucking mouth. Him and that other guy, Mr. fucking next slide, please, Chris Whitty, the man who doesn't blink. The man that looks like an alien. You know, and everything I said about that man came true. And I said to my mum, didn't I tell you it was going to happen? Oh, but he's trying to keep us safe. Mum, the BBC are doing everything in their power to fucking scare people. The amount of scaremongering they done with us during COVID was absolutely horrendous. And then the whole Eat Out to Help Out campaign, do you remember that? Or bullshit that came out as well. Eat out to help out, get back out and help businesses, but also stay at home and don't go out. Don't make no sense. You walk into a restaurant with a mask on, but as soon as you sit at a table, you can take it off. If you're on an airplane, you have to wear a mask. But if they walk over to you with a drink, they put it in front of you, you're allowed to take your mask off for the whole period of time. So you sit on a 45-minute flight, sipping one drink the whole time, you don't wear a mask on the plane. Figure that one out. I could go on and on. In my eyes, Matt Hancock is not a celebrity. Matt Hancock is a weasel. He's a liar. And he's a cheat. Now, here's the thing. Today, I was going through... I actually went on to the BBC website, which I never really go on too much. But there was a big story today entitled, I'm a Celebrity. Matt Hancock told breaking COVID rules was a slap in the face. Slap in the face? Are you having a fucking laugh? This guy was out breaking the rules constantly while we were all locked in our homes and couldn't see our families for months. People who couldn't even see their grandparents, people who couldn't even see their cousins, their family, people who had relatives dying in care homes, couldn't see them. People had to sit outside in the piss and rain and look at their relatives through a window. All because of people like Matt Hancock. So is he a celebrity in my eyes? Is he by fuck? He ain't no celebrity to me. He's a weasel. And he should not be, and I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. I haven't watched him on it. I'm not going to watch him on it. People have been saying, oh, you should watch it, and, I think he's sort of like, he's a nice guy, really, and I was like, really? Really? Don't think so. Once a weasel, always a weasel. So, but that's my opinion on it. And he's in this program, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. Guys, what's your opinion on it? I'm a celebrity. Do you think he's a celebrity? I don't think he's a celebrity. I think he's a wee rat. I think he should be one of the rats on the program. Personally. I don't trust him. And I don't like him. And if anybody doesn't like what I have to say, keep your opinion to yourself. This is the Unleashed podcast. And I'm not being racist or anything like that. Yes, you may think I'm being a little bit hatred and all towards him. But everybody has an opinion on everybody. I get hate all the time, and I have an opinion, and it's just like you out there as well. So what's your opinion on Matt Hancock being an I'm a Celebrity, get me out here? I still haven't watched it. I won't watch it. I refuse to watch it. I know a lot of people who are not watching it because of him being on it. For what I've been told, apparently the ratings are down as well because of him. So yeah, I'm not watching it. I have no intentions of watching it because he's a jackass. So there you go. Anyway, guys, moving away from that weasel to another gentleman who, in my opinion, is doing the right thing. Mr. Donald Trump. Now, I know a lot of you out there, you emailed me there from last Tuesday, did say I was going to be speaking about Donald Trump. I know I've had a lot of girls out there, especially, emailing me calling Donald Trump a womanizer, and he's a bit of a creep, and things like that. Me personally, guys, I've actually met Donald Trump. I met Donald Trump back in 2007 in Detroit, Michigan, when he was part of WWE WrestleMania, what was it, 23 at the time. Big dude, big man. So he was, but very, very nice to us when we met him. But anyway, Donald Trump has announced that he will be running for presidency in 2024. And the reason why he's getting my vote of confidence is because we need to get another individual I want to talk about today, Sleepy Joe Biden. That man needs to be kicked out of office now. He is incompetent. He is too old, useless, can't put a sentence together, doesn't know what he's talking about, creepy. Like, give you an example, look at the things he was doing recently, like, what was that story he was speaking about the other week? Now, don't quote me on this, but I think for what I remember reading it was, he told a young girl in her teenage years not to be intimate with men until she's in her 30s. Also, he sniffs women's hair like a creep. He can't put sentences together. Like, for example, he says, 2 words to describe America is... What? Seriously? This is a guy who sat and said to prepare for a hurricane in the likes of Florida, Texas, etc., to prepare for the recent hurricanes and all, and storms, you must get vaccinated. Really? Vaccinated for a fucking hurricane? What planet does this man live on? This man is clearly too old for the job. He can't put his... I mean, even reading the teleprompter, Jesus Christ, the stuff even when he read on the fucking teleprompter. Even read, like, there's things in teleprompters that says, take, or moments pause, whatever, and then read on. He even fucking read things like that. The man is wired to the moon. The guy is wired to the fucking moon. And he is the leader of the free world. Joe Biden, I reckon, he went to some conference thing, was it that COP26 last year? And he was falling asleep. The guy is, and then he done another interview last month, I seen on YouTube. He was doing another interview and it looked like he was falling asleep during the fucking interview again. I seen a cracking sign months ago. It said, no, for like running for president, it says Biden for president. Yeah, take away the P and replace it with an R. Biden for resident, care home resident. Now, He's another one too as well, which is just how he got in the office, I'll never know. I personally think that obviously I can't vote for an American, and I don't get involved in politics and stuff like that there, and I don't know how the politics work in the States. There's Republicans and Democrats and all that jazz, and we do get a lot of American viewers and listeners and stuff. So before I say anything further, anybody out there from America who's listening, I'm only giving my opinion of this here. I'm not either. I don't live in the States. I'm just giving you from an outsider's perspective looking at this. So if you don't agree with what I have to say, whether you vote for one side or the other, that's your opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm only going with what I see. Personally, I think Donald Trump should go back in office, because when he was in charge, for what I seen, he had the country under control. He had the immigration under control, the what do you call it? What is the word I'm looking for now? I can't even speak. Basically the business part of the world. I can't even think of the fucking word now. I'm so confused. I feel like Joe Biden. The economy, sorry, I couldn't get that out there. Here, Joe is out there. Joe Biden's confusing me. The economy was doing well. Employment was doing well, unemployment was low, everything was going well, and then as soon as Joe Biden came in, all the immigrants started coming in, and everything's going mad, and it's just fucking crazy. But if it was up to me personally, guys, I would love to see your man in Florida, DeSantis, can't remember his first name, be the president. You know why? Because that man does not take any bullshit. That man calls a spade a spade. That man is open and honest with his people, and that man just calls it as it is. Now, during COVID, he actually turned around and said to the people of Florida, he's the mayor of Florida, wherever he is, he says, you want to wear a mask? Wear a mask. You want to live your life the way you are? Go ahead and live it. He says, I don't want that crap. And then was it last week, I think I was in an interview with him, where he turned around and says he's getting rid of the wokeism, or the woke brigade as I call them, out of Florida altogether. You're not welcome in my state. You'll be shown the door. This is the type of leader who you want. God love to have them over here. They can sort out all the crap here in the UK. All these boo-hooers and crybabies and whingers like tying themselves to fucking roads and sitting on top of bridges and going, oh, please help. Did you see me girl last week crying? Over all, and then didn't notice how fake her tears were. She was like, I haven't got a future. And then as soon as she started mentioning who she was representing, like the oil protesters, it just instantly changed like a light switch. No tears, no boo-hooing. It was like a fucking robot mode. That was really scary. Like, the fact that these fucking snowflakes and these wokeism fuckers, or lefties, or whatever you want to call them, are all, like, getting into the heads of young ones now. Like, look at that wee clown. Was it Greta Thunberg, or whatever you want to call her? That's the Norway one who needs a good kick up the ass and told, darling, wind your fucking neck in. But this guy, DeSantis, is great. He comes in, calls a spade, doesn't take no bullshit from anybody, just basically calls it as it is. He can come over here and sort a few things out. Snowflakes, wind your neck in, lefties, piss off, use all these wee arseholes, want to sit and cry and boo-hoo, go and live somewhere else. Know what I mean? I was actually flicking through Instagram, or was it something, I think it was Instagram or Facebook Reels, whatever it was, in the airport yesterday, and the amount of young ones I seen, like this wee girl come on, she was like, I've had such a bad week. I just didn't. I am just like so stressed out because my 3 front nails broke and I don't know what to do. Your nails broke? Fuck me, seriously. Why are you crying over? Is this what this generation's like now? Crying and boo-hooing and whinging over everything so silly and stupid. Like, get up and get on with it. I seen another guy on fucking Instagram, one of the reels or stories, and he was like crying, I've got my granny's blanket wrapped around me, and they stopped my benefit not because I didn't want to go to my appointment, I was just too tired to go, and I need my benefit. Shut the fuck up and stop crying. Really? Like, I'm sitting there looking at that and going, if I look at on, I think he was about 19 or something like that. Even when I was 19, I was still a grown-ass man, okay? I was still living at home. My dad would have stuck his boot up my backside and said, get up the fuck, go and get a job, wind your neck and stop complaining. And stop posting silly crying videos all over the internet about, oh my God, my legs. Really? Like, what is going on with this world right now? People are just so easily offended. It's ridiculous. But anyway, this guy DeSantis, he'd be a good candidate for presidency. But at the minute, for what I can see, Donald Trump is going to be back in there again. And now, okay, you people out there may think Donald Trump, he's a bit of a chauvinistic, he loves himself, whatever, and he's a womanizer. Women don't like him and stuff. But he's a businessman, and he's a successful businessman, and he knows how to turn things around. He'll know how to fix the economy. He'll call a spade a spade. He had Vladimir Putin in his back pocket when he was in charge. And these people out there are saying, oh no. But a lot of people have actually changed their mind from voting for Biden to now going to the side of Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump will sort the country out. Not overnight, of course, it would take a bit of time. But Joe Biden has left it in a fucking mess. And we need more leaders in this world that sorts out people who are basically gurn babies, cry babies, snowflakes, stops all the immigration, all this bullshit that's going on in the world at the minute. Like, see these oil, I talked about this before, these oil protesters and all this crap they're doing, going out and destroying people's properties. And, you know, I think it was it Lewis was showing me a video that popped up on Instagram Reels of this beautiful car dealership. I think it was either England or America, wherever it was. And these motherfuckers were coming in and throwing stuff all over these expensive cars about protesting about oil and gas contracts and all this here shit. But they got to the venue where they were going to protest in a fucking car. So, like, really? But I bet it was an electric car. Was it or was it not? Who knows? But anyway, yes, the world's going fucking mad. And again, I did apologise before I start ranting here, but Joe Biden needs to be shown the door. Matt Hancock is an arsehole. That's me being totally honest with you. And the world needs to basically get a good swift kick up the ass and get it back to the true values of life where people, you know, can have an opinion without being cancelled. Celebrities can have an opinion without being cancelled. Comedians can do a gig without people standing outside with their wee picket signs complaining and protesting. Like, for example, Peter Kay is going back on tour after 12 years. I wonder how many fucking lefty woke brigades are going to be outside the venues complaining, his jokes are too offensive. I think he should be cancelled. Or people will, like, for example, I watched Jimmy Carr doing a show there a few months ago. I saw a clip on YouTube one time. This guy actually bought a ticket just to go into a show to try and cancel the fucking show. And Jimmy Carr ripped him apart and said to him, basically told him the security to get him out. And at the very end, before he took him, he goes, thanks for your money, by the way, motherfucker. You know what I mean? They're just, people are just too easily offended. And these people who are running the world right now, the likes of the time of the Matt Hancocks and the fucking Joe Bidens and all them boys, need to be sorted and need to be just shown the door and bring in somebody who's going to bring back true values of the world and try and sort this mess of an economy out, sort out all this crap, this cost of living bullshit, and get the world back on its feet again. Because at the minute, you can't say boo to a fly with somebody trying to have you arrested or, you know, trying to cancel you or whatever. Like, I get it every fucking day myself. I ignore most of it, but there is the occasional one that comes in thinking they're fucking smart. Oh, you said this on your vlog like 4 weeks ago or a year and a half ago. I'm easily offended by it. I'm reporting your video to YouTube because you said the word blah blah. Really? Do yourself a favour. Go and get yourself a fucking life. Anyway, that's just insanity. The world's going bonkers, and it's. I think Donald Trump should be the president of America again. If you don't like that, that's your opinion. Let me know what you think about it, guys. Give me an email on what I've talked about today. MoorArmyPodcast@yahoo.com. And I'll obviously be, reading through some of your messages here in just a wee second as well. But, you know, it's the world's going mad, guys. And there's days I just look at it and go, that's why I don't bother with many people anymore. That's why I don't bother with much of the outside world apart from, you know, my football and stuff like that. And if I meet anybody in the street who's all like, oh, I'm easily offended, I just walk away because I'll end up saying something I'll regret to them. Or they'll end up going bonkers and going, what did you say to me? God, whatever, go away. Unbelievable. Anyway, let's get to your emails, guys. I've got a couple here to answer today before I scoot off into the sunset for another week. Thanks again for all your contact, guys, with your emails and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and it really, really does. I got a really interesting one here that I did pull out actually yesterday when I was checking my emails on the not on the airplane, at the airport, sorry. This one guy who sent me a message, and I'm going to read it out now because I was actually thinking about doing this about a month or so ago. And it's really, really good. He's a wrestling fan. I know obviously out there you all know I'm a wrestling fan. I don't like to answer wrestling questions every week, but I do like to drop the occasional one because a lot of you do contact me because of it. But I had an email here from a guy called Bryson. He wants to know, look, this is what he says in his email. It says, Matthew, love the channel, love the new podcast, etc. One quick question for you, wrestling related. I know you're in Liverpool quite a lot. I know you fly into Manchester sometimes as well for Blackpool, Liverpool games, etc., etc. What about one time going to Wigan and checking out the graveside of the British Bulldog Davy Boy Smith? Myself and my brother attended there about 6 months ago and paid our tribute by laying flowers at his grave. He was a great British wrestler who was a massive name in the WWF back in the day. If you're ever in Wigan, would you ever consider going along to check out his graveside, as it would be a great way to pay respects to him, as he was a great British wrestler and a great representation of the UK. Do you know something? I was actually thinking about that because I wanted to go to Wigan and Bolton as well for wee day trips and stuff, and I was actually looking that up. Davy Boy Smith is actually buried in Wigan, for what I was reading actually. And I'd love to go along and sort of like pay respects and put a bunch of flowers down at his graveside, because you can visit it. I actually saw a video about a year or two ago on YouTube. Some guy visited it, and again lay some flowers and stuff down, and you can go ahead and pay your respects obviously to that. But again, in the way I look at it is as well, you know, do you really want to go and like, it's sort of a touchy subject, and I'd love to go and pay my respects to him because he was a big name for the UK and obviously the whole of the UK. As in the WWF back in the day. So that was a great question. I just thought I'd bring that up today, so thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that. But maybe one day I'll maybe go along and lay a bunch of flowers down and pay my respects to him, because he was a great wrestler. It's a pity he was never WWF champion back in the day. Such a pity. He should have been the first British world champion, but unfortunately that was not the case, because it was Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus was the first Irish born champion. I always thought either William Regal or British Bulldog should have got it, but that was the case. But there you are. Okay, got another one here from Heidi. Hello, Heidi. Heidi hi, Heidi ho, Heidi ho ho ho, Heidi. Heidi hi from back in the day. It was a great program. Hey Matthew, how you doing? Hope you're all keeping well. Just wanted to know, is Brooke ever going to bring back our YouTube channel? LOL. No, you've mentioned it loads of times before on the podcast and the YouTube channel. Please get her to bring it back. We'd love to see Brooke doing some makeup tutorials. You know something, Heidi? You're not the only one that's actually said that recently. I've had a couple of questions on Instagram recently. I mentioned to Brooke a couple of weeks back, and Brooke just looked at me and went, "No, it's not happening, Daddy." She's going through one of her grumpy stages. Anyway, she continues to write on saying she loves the podcast, loves the YouTube channel, and would love to meet the family sometime. Well, Heidi, thank you very much for your message. I really do appreciate that, as always, for everybody else. I will certainly say to her, I'll pass this message on to her. I know she still has all her videos on her channel. Her wee channel's still there, but she's privatised all her videos. I think she's going through a wee phase where she wanted to do it, and honestly, I think she might bring it back sometime. I don't know, but at the minute, and I'll be totally honest with you guys, right at this Pacific time now, Brooke's running on empty at the minute, because she's working hard. She's got her school subjects. She's at tech college. She's at school, you know. And I actually had to have a chat with her the other day about it, tell her to sort of take a wee step back and take it easy, because her school even phoned me her Monday pass as well and said they were a bit concerned about her, because she's obviously burning the candle at both ends. So I've told her she needs to balance herself out a bit more, and most importantly, she needs to get rest as well, because you can't sort of go all out all the time, because you will end up eventually hitting burnout. I did explain to her what happened to me one time. I'll tell you another wee story about that. Years ago, whenever I first met Brooke and Lewis's mum, we were working together in a care home, working with the elderly, and that's where I met their mum, and we were going out for a bit and stuff, and then we had a bit of a fallout for about a month or so, or 2 months maybe, and I went from day shift to night shift to try and avoid the mum, because you know it's like when you're 19, 20, it's like, I hate her, steer my head out. So we got back together again, and I was working days, she was working days and I was working nights. So there was times where it was kind of like, you know, because she was sort of the same age as Brooke at the time, and I was still a young lad too as well, and she was still in sixth form at school, plus working day shifts and night shifts. So I was trying to balance. I was coming off night shifts and coming to meet her in the mornings, and then not getting any sleep, and sometimes on days off spending all day with her and stuff. And then it got to the point where I was up all day and all night, and eventually I ended up being burnt out, and I ended up practically passing out in work one night, and I was physically, mentally drained, and I ended up having to take a week or two off work, was just complete exhaustion. So that's why I've been saying to Brooke, you need to balance things out. You need to sort of balance your work and your personal life and your things like that. But most importantly, I've told her the most important thing she should worry about right the Pacific now is her education. That's the most important thing she needs to think about right now. Not her wee job where she works, because at the end of the day, it's just the education is trying to get her the job that she wants eventually, the career working with kids in schools and stuff. So she needs to focus on that. And at the end of the day, she's still young. You know what I mean? I don't want her going all out and burning herself out. So she's been obviously had a wee chat with her, and the school's had a chat with her, and we've obviously got her back on track again. So, but yeah, we'll see her bring back our wee YouTube channel. I'd love to see her bring her back our wee YouTube channel, because her wee videos were quite good, actually. So they were. So, Heidi, thanks for your question. I do appreciate it. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. Well, should I answer one more before I'm going to do Jackass of the Week? I think I should answer. What do you reckon? Answer one more? You know something? I will. I'll answer one more. Let's have a look here and see. Right, here's one here from a guy called Craig. Craig is from Huddersfield. Hello, Craig. Hope you're doing well out there. Huddersfield? I've never been to Huddersfield. I've always heard it's a nice place in the world. Never actually been there before. Anyway, Craig wants to know, are we heading to WrestleMania this year? Another wrestling-related question. I'm sorry, guys. No, we're not heading to WrestleMania this year. We were going to hope, but we're not going this year. Craig, thanks for your message. I'll try and find one here, actually, but it's not wrestling-related, actually, before I put it out here and see. Right, here we go. Here's an interesting one. A lot of people have been talking about this here as well. I've seen even my mate Chris made a funny video about this on his Instagram. Oh, I don't know. Here we go. I've got a question here saying, "Hi Matthew, can I ask you a question? What do you recommend of air fryers?" There's a guy I watch on TikTok who's popular, but also gets the piss taken out of him because he seems to put everything in an air fryer. Do you have an air fryer in your house? If so, how often do you use it? An air fryer? Everybody seems to be talking about these fucking air fryers, especially at the minute because people said it's a lot cheaper to run than a cooker because of this whole cost of living crisis nonsense. Oh, I don't know. That one's from Peter, actually. Thanks, Peter, for your email. Appreciate it. Air fryers. Yes, well, I don't have one. I have a machine in there. I can't remember where I got it from. Where did I get it from? I can't remember. And it cooks everything like you say, like an air fryer, but it's not. It does everything. Basically, what you could do is you could throw a whole roast dinner in there and cook it all at once. You know, it's one of those machines, and I don't really use it that often. But Mum and Dad have an air fryer, Tony has an air fryer, and they're all saying that they're fucking great to use, and they're so much more healthier too. So I'm going to have to get an air fryer. Everybody keeps asking. And my mate Chris, who is an actor, and obviously he made a cracking... Guys, he made a cracking video recently. That guy does Rate My Takeaway on YouTube. I'm sure you've all probably heard of him. He went to Leeds for the day to meet him, and the video he made was fucking class. So it was. I think I shared it in my story. He made a funny video on air fryers. You know, everybody keeps asking, "You got an air fryer yet, mate?" I bought an air fryer. Brilliant video. I've actually asked him to come on the podcast sometime because he's a great lad, and I'd love to get him on sometime for a wee interview. So funny. But anyway, guys, thanks for your emails. Appreciate it. I'm going to respond to a lot of yous off the podcast. I'll switch the podcast off because I like to reply to you, a lot of yous as well. So I'm going to get a chance to read out a couple. So keep coming them in, guys. MoorArmyPodcast@yahoo.com. I do appreciate it. But it's night time. And I didn't have an unreleased podcast last week, but we've got one this week, and I do this every week from now on in. It is now time for the Moor Army podcast. I love this part. Jackass of the Week segment. Oh, I love the sound of that donkey. It makes me laugh every time. Now, you probably will know who I'm going to be announcing as the Jackass of the Week. Now, starting next week, I'm going to put a vote out who you think should be the Jackass of the Week for next week. So I'm going to give you a couple of candidates, and I maybe even put a poll up on Facebook and also on Instagram. So, and you can also drop me a mail for any suggestions for Jackass of the Week and why that person should be Jackass of the Week. Anyway, after not even thinking that hard, to be quite honest with you, and you probably know who it is, the Jackass of the Week for this week is, can I get a drum roll, please, from someone here who... No, I'm only kidding. Can I get a drum roll, please? Thank you very much. The Moor Army podcast Jackass of the Week for this week is the one and only, the weasel, the rat, the liar, the backstabber, the two-faced cheating git, Matt Hancock. That's right, he is the Jackass of the Week because he has entered I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and in my opinion, and in the opinion of many people, he is not a celebrity at all. He is a weasel. So there you go. That is the Jackass of the Week for this week. Matt Hancock. And I will refuse to watch that program. I won't even watch clips on it, segments on it, or nothing. I wasn't really a big fan beforehand, but a lot of people are saying that they're not watching it anymore because he's in it, because of what he's done. But again, I want to hear what you think about that. Drop me an email or contact me on social media. Guys, I'm going to go here now because I've got to go and get this put out. I do apologise, obviously, for being out on Friday instead of Thursday, as always. I'll be back next Tuesday. with another podcast. So if you have any questions at all, get them in now. I'm gonna get an update over the weekend, guys, about this new merch that I'm trying to get out. I know I've been saying it for the last couple of weeks, but again, with other things going on at the minute, I've sort of let it slip. Obviously, with the wee health scare I had the other week and things like that. And guys, thank you very much. Before, just as a touch on that there briefly, thank you very much for getting back to me about that. I do appreciate it. Obviously, even on the Instagram live stream, you were all asking how I was. I'm still a wee bit sore, guys, but I'm doing all right. I'm getting there. It's still a wee bit sore, but I'm okay. I'm getting there. I was at the doctor's on Monday, and the doctor checked it, said it was getting a wee bit better, so I have to go back to the doctor's again in another 2 weeks. So hopefully I'm on the mend, and it should be all right. And no, I'm not pregnant. No babies for me, thank you very much. I'm done with babies. Only babies I'll ever have involved in my life is whenever my own kids have their own babies. And the best thing about being a grandparent is you can hand the babies back. So there you go. Guys, thank you for all your support. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, official Matthew Moore, the Moore Army YouTube channel, Facebook page. Drop a like on it for me if you do appreciate it. You know the email address as well, and also the Moore Army website, moorearmy.co.uk. I do appreciate all your support. Love yous all. I know I've been ranting a little bit today because of the whole celebrity, get me out of here, and Donald Trump and all that there, but at the end of the day, this is the Unleashed podcast, and yeah, I love being unleashed because I can say whatever I want to a degree. Got a pretty busy week this up because I've got some really good stories for you next week. I'm actually going to, as I did say a few weeks ago, start telling you a few old stories about myself, because a lot of you were saying you want to hear more stories, so I will be telling you another story next week, so stay tuned for that and more. And again, thank you for all your support. I love you all, guys. Do appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend, guys. I've got a pretty busy weekend coming up with football this weekend, and yes, it's going to be a pretty busy weekend, so I'm looking forward to it. So until next Tuesday, guys, enjoy your weekend and stay tuned for more vlogs coming out on the channel and more YouTube shorts as well. They just told me to keep trying to plug that too. So until next Tuesday, guys, until the Moore Army podcast, thank you for listening, and don't forget to check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, and on YouTube as well. Until next Tuesday, guys, see you all then. Thanks for listening.